United States has enjoyed the richest of basketball history and a record of unsurpassed world dominance until recently. It has been loss after loss for U.S. basketball at these tournaments, and what was once a golden tradition has paled into something less brilliant. But this year, America has assembled the dream team, and these 12 men are determined to bring basketball supremacy back to the United States.
Yeah, let's get to it. Let's get to it. Let's go. Let's go, man.
They have gone about their task with a flair rarely seen in sports, dazzling all who have crossed their path, even themselves. Patrick with the pass that misfired. Jordan with the behind the back save. Here's Pearl. Yes.
The zoning will be working.
This collection of superstars has been unselfishly magnificent.
Come on, let's go, MJ.
Jordan calls for fake. Michael Jordan with a spectacular move. They have been totally dominating, but along with all their style, the U.S. team has shown its substance at this tournament. And with a victory today, they will begin to atone for 5 years of desperation, proving once again that America's place is secure in international basketball. Today, the Americas. Tomorrow, the world. We welcome you to the championship game of the Tournament of the Americas from Portland, Oregon. I'm Marv Albert along with Mike Fratello and Quinn Buckner. It's game 6 of the competition for the United States men's Olympic basketball team. They've been treated like lead stars here in Portland. The dream team overwhelming all opposition. And we'll be back with the title game.
The faces of the game. Today's starting lineups brought to you by Schick.
And these are the starters for Venezuela. Sam Shepard, a product of Delaware State. Ivan Olivares back from the injury list. He's averaging 18 points per game. Up front, Alexander Nelcha, Gabriel Estaba, who had a big one against Brazil in the upset here on Friday. And from the Houston Rockets, Carl Herrera, the 6'9" center. That's the coach of Venezuela. Julio Toro, his second year as head man of Venezuela's national team. For the United States, Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan open in the backcourt. Chuck Daly has been doing a lot of shuffling to see that his people get the minutes. Karl Malone and now Chris Mullin in the starting lineup for this afternoon's game. And David Robinson is the starting center. And the coaching staff for the U.S. Spearheaded by Chuck Daly, his assistants Lenny Wilkins, Mike Krzyzewski, the man who's taken Duke to 2 straight NCAA championships the last 2 years, and P.J. Carlissimo by way of Seton Hall. And Mike, once again, the U.S.
tremendous amount of depth. Chuck Daly's gone with 4 different starting lineups. He changes at halftime and comes out the second half many times with a different unit. So I think all those things they wanted, they've gotten.
The United States in its last outing on Friday night defeated Puerto Rico 119-81 in the semifinals, led by Scottie Pippen, who was one shy of a triple-double. Karl Malone 8 for 11, 22 points. While Venezuela pulled off a major surprise on Friday in the semis by defeating Brazil 100-91. In their earlier meeting, Brazil defeated Venezuela by 47 points. Venezuela ran off 18 unanswered down the stretch, Brazil missing 16 straight shots. Even the celebrated Oscar Schmidt went cold. However, Oscar came back this afternoon in the consolation game. He had 27 points. Brazil defeating Puerto Rico 93-91. Chris Mullin has been on fire throughout the tournament. In fact, the entire squad has been on fire. They've shot 63% as a team.
Well, with the tremendous ball movement that they've had in the spacing, the perimeter game, and inside game, every shot seems to be a high percentage shot. Even the three-pointers, the guys are wide open, uncontested.
Costas Rigas of Greece, Juan Figueroa of Puerto Rico are the officials as the United States controls the opening tip. Mullin is being guarded by Estaba. And here's Malone.
Venezuela starting out in a zone. U.S. few passes, find an open man for basically another layup.
And this is Shepard, rebounded by Malone, getting the inside position on Alexander Nelcha. And that bullet from Magic Johnson goes astray.
In talking to the players from the Venezuelan team, they understand that there will be very, very few fast breaks as far as they're concerned. Now, what the United States wants to do, on the other hand, that's their problem. The U.S. trying to push the ball back at them at every opportunity.
Robinson nearly picked it off, but he stepped out. For those of you following the proceedings at Wimbledon, that is the update still in progress in the men's doubles final. They are in the 5th set. And once again, Venezuela will throw it in. Sam Shepard, captain of the Venezuelan national team. He's been a professional in Venezuela the last 18 years. Shepard with the reverse, rebounded by Nelcha, blocked by Robinson. Magic Johnson for Karl Malone. The U.S. with a 4-0 lead. Light pressure being shown by the United States as Carl Herrera handled the ball and then got trapped. Malone with the open shot. Rebounded by Herrera.
You can see that the thought process for the U.S. team is to swing the basketball, look for open people, and they're almost hesitant to shoot wide open 12 to 15-foot jumpers if it happens to be one that comes after only one pass.
Estaba with a 3-point air ball. Gabriel Estaba played a year at South Alabama. He was in the camp of the Charlotte Hornets. As you look at that block that lands in the hand of Michael Jordan. United States with a 4-0 lead. Magic Johnson not able to save it. Step on the end line. Nelcha not able to hold on.
I had mentioned earlier that Chuck Daly and his staff have changed starting lineups on 4 different occasions. This particular starting lineup is one that they've used now for the 3rd time in the tournament.
Good box out by Nelcha. Herrera and Robinson off the rebound. It is a 4-on-2. Malone making it 6-0 for the United States. And Julio Toro of Venezuela looks to talk it over. Timeout taken.
Ladies and gentlemen, USA Basketball would like to thank the following.
Recapping what has taken place over the past week here at the Tournament of Americas, the United States has won 5 out of 5 to advance to this championship game. Victories over Cuba by 79 points. They knock off Canada, Panama by 60, Argentina, and Puerto Rico, while Venezuela has surprised by making it to the final game. Upsets over Canada, Friday night over Brazil, a team they lost to by 47 points earlier in the week. So Venezuela has won 4 of its 6 games.
Not a bad turnaround for the coaching staff. A 58-point differential. Lose by 47, win by 11.
That was an unusual early timeout taken a moment ago by Venezuela.
Because you only get 2 timeouts per half. So the fact that you would use one up after 2 minutes and 15 seconds, Coach Toro not happy with the shot selection after only 1 pass each time.
And Malone extends to an 8-0 lead. Venezuela is 0 for the first 3 minutes. They have missed on their first 7 field goal attempts. Malone with all 8 U.S. points.
Just a moment ago, the awesome attack, the transition game, and the big people for the U.S. team that run the floor so well. Karl Malone, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, big people that get down for easy scores.
Magic Johnson called for that foul. Off the head fake, a strip by Jordan. Venezuela able to get Magic Johnson through the foul. He tried to split through, and he was stopped by Herrera.
Well, so much of the U.S. offense has come from their defense, their ability to intercept, get in passing lanes, strip people, or block shots, and then their transition game at its very best, producing so many easy scores this week.
So Magic Johnson line for a couple. The NBA's all-time leader in assists. He has looked very sharp right throughout the weekend, has indicated that he is looking to play at least a partial schedule next season for the Los Angeles Lakers.
It's just so hard for me to believe that he will not be back in uniform again next season for the Lakers. This is what this man lives for, the game of basketball. He sees himself out here competing at the same level he was at before he took the season off. So why not go back and play, providing that health-wise it's okay by the doctors.
Nelcha missing on the stuff. Here's Magic. And he was hacked. Fouled by Olivares.
What's happening right now to the Venezuelan team is they're paying so much attention to the perimeter shooters of the United States, Chris Mullin and Michael Jordan, that it's opening up the lane for Magic. In other games, Magic has dribble penetrated. The defenses have collapsed, taken away the lane. He just kicks it out to our players spotting up behind three-point lines. However, this game, the lane is opening. Magic's taking advantage.
And you see the impressive stat line over the years, 13 seasons in the NBA for Magic Johnson. United States, 11, and Venezuela, nothing. Venezuela 0 for its first 8. Shepard guarded by Johnson. Estaba met by Malone on a switch. And Venezuela forced into the bad shot. Here's Magic to the hook, and that will count. It's a goaltend. Make it 13-0 for the United States.
Well, Magic reads it so well. He's got the lane, now the opportunity for the lefty hook on the way down. Goaltend, good call.
4 minutes gone by in the first half. Nelcha. Venezuela is 0 for 10. Malone from Jordan. Here's Robinson. And the United States pitching a shutout, 15-zip. Shepard for 3. So Shepard able to connect. Now they say a 2-pointer. The United States with a 15-2 lead. 5 minutes gone by in this first half. Mullen not able to hit. And it will be Venezuela ball. Now let's rejoin Dick Enberg at Wimbledon. All right, Dick, and as you see, the United States with a now 20-9 lead. While we were away, Chris Mullin did hit a 3-pointer, but Venezuela finally, after having the shooting difficulties, able to get on the scoring column. After missing their first 10, they've hit their last 4 field goal attempts. Michael Jordan slicing through, and it's rebounded by Alexander Nelcha. Shepard lofts one down. Olivares with the attempted save, but Magic able to retrieve. 6.5 gone by in the first half. Magic Johnson with a strong move. 22-9 for the United States. So Magic with 7 points. Malone leading the way with 8. Olivares has 4 for Venezuela. Sam Shepard handling the ball, a 39-year-old point guard who played at Delaware State, born in North Carolina, now lives in Philadelphia, but has been a professional in Venezuela the last 18 years. That's a 3-point attempt by Herrera.
Shepard, a legend in the country, was telling us after their last game that before he got there, they had problems getting the ball up the floor during international competition. There just were no point guards in the country.
Karl Malone able to follow for a 24-9 United States lead. In Venezuela, they call Shepard the Magician, although he's a bit shy about having that nickname tossed around in this setting, in particular with a fellow by the name of Magic Johnson guarding Sam the Magician Shepard. Nice pass. The reverse by Olivares, rejected by Robinson. Olivares on a recovery. This is Shepard with it. Knocked away by Magic. And the United States calls for a timeout. 8 minutes gone by in the first half. Back in Portland, joining us on the sidelines today, one-time Olympian, a member of the 1976 U.S. gold medal winning team in Montreal, Quinn Buckner. Here's Quinn.
Thanks, Marv. I've been talking to the guys, and they're excited about a couple things. They've been playing well. They know that they're ready to go to the Olympics. But most importantly, at this point, after 2 weeks of playing in the game, they're just ready to go home. And I think it's good that they go home, get a break from each other, but they're ready to go for the goal. let's go back to Marvin Mike.
All right, Quinn. Yes, there will be a hiatus before they head to Monte Carlo on the way to Barcelona. Patrick Ewing and Clyde Drexler, Charles Barkley, and Scottie Pippen have all checked in. The crowd reacting to the entrance of the hometown favorite, Clyde Drexler of the Portland Trailblazers. So only Michael Jordan remains from the starting unit. Barkley and Drexler gets it back out.
And with the injury to Stockton, Michael Jordan now becomes your backup point guard to Magic Johnson. Nice problem to have.
Clyde Drexler extends to a 27-9 United States lead. Rustin Gonzalez has checked in for the first time for Venezuela. And a reach-in foul has been called on Drexler. We're talking about the schedule of the U.S. men's Olympic team. Training camp beginning back on the 20th of June in La Jolla, California. Then this tournament, they move on to pick-up training in Monte Carlo on the 18th. And then make their way to Barcelona. Barkley able to rip it down. Now Jordan finding Ewing. And Pippen's pass broken up, comes back to Ewing. Yes, Patrick Ewing, who has the excellent outside touch, giving the United States a 29-9 lead.
You mentioned Monte Carlo. In Monte Carlo, at the end of those few days of practice together, they will play one more exhibition game against France and then move on to Barcelona.
Jordan for Ewing. So the United States with a 31-9 lead. At times you feel you're watching a performance, a Broadway show, a concert, rather than a basketball competition. We have been witnessing a special level that this game has really produced. We saw it last week against Cuba, and we have seen it throughout most of the week. And Venezuela severely overmatched in this contest. Pushing foul has been called on Luis Jimenez, who just came on.
Michael Jordan, who thrives on whatever the next challenge is for himself, really likes the idea of sliding over right now into the point guard position, running the show rather than be the focal point as far as scoring. Now it's his job to distribute the basketball, find open people.
Ewing with the rebound. And Jimenez able to come up with it, had it knocked away. It's a 3-on-1. Drexler from Pippen. And here's Jordan.
Well, I'm not trying to say that he forgot how to score. It's just that he's the point guard now on the floor.
13 unanswered, the latest run by the United States. Well, let's see, last Sunday, the U.S. won by 79 over Cuba. This has the makings of a larger shellacking. And the foul is called on Barkley.
Well, the U.S. team is so athletic that they just continue to crash the boards, get second and third opportunities, then Michael with a little extra something on it at the end.
And the backup point guard, Michael Jordan, will take a seat. Christian Laettner coming on for the first time.
So now the question is, who runs the show? Well, as he does so often for his Chicago team, Scottie Pippen will basically control the basketball along with Clyde Drexler.
And off the trap, Drexler came up with the steal. Pippen leading the break, finding Laettner. 35-9. The United States with 15 consecutive points. And Barkley not able to hold on. Venezuela has emptied its bench. And it's kept alive by Gonzalez. Gonzalez off the rebound. Gonzalez again. Rustin Gonzalez had 3 cracks at it. United States leading 35-11.
one of the things that continues to happen this week as Leitner faces up from outside, knocks down a three. Each team comes in with its game plan, but as soon as the United States team gets up 8 or 10, it seems like they throw the game plan out the window. They're not willing to stick with it and try to keep the tempo in their favor. It's like first guy down, catches the ball, fire it up, and you're not going to beat the United States team that way.
Scottie Pippen with the pass for Patrick Ewing. The United States 40 and Venezuela 11. Yes, a similar pattern has taken place right throughout this tournament. Friday night, Puerto Rico actually hung in. That's a three-pointer. Victor Diaz hitting the three. Puerto Rico staying alive for what, the first 6-7 minutes, and then the United States put it out of reach with one of those bursts. And a three for Drexler to answer Diaz.
You could see Puerto Rico come out with the game plan. They went down low inside, got some fouls early on the big people from the United States team. They were very patient on offense, threw 5, 6, 7, 8 passes. They came down, made their shots, and played good defense. But suddenly, they got away from it. The game opened up, and then it was over.
Traveling violation is called. Timeout has been taken by Venezuela with 6:54 to go, first half. Well, earlier this week, longtime Soviet coach Alexander Gomelsky was in attendance, checking out the action. You recall it was Gomelsky who coached the Soviet national team to the gold medal in Seoul back in 1988, beating the U.S. in the semifinals. We asked him in a 10-game series, how would his Soviet team fare against the American Dream Team?
I think we have 10 games, maybe 3-4 times my boys win. If we have same team who play in the Olympic game in Seoul 98. This is possible.
Whoa, 3 or 4 victories for that 88 Soviet team against this U.S. Olympic team. Do you buy that?
Well, first of all, Coach Gomelsky is a very, very good friend of mine. I would have to say that for them to win a game against this United States team, it would be a case of the U.S. looking past that team. When this U.S. team zeroes in on their opponent, they have the ability to destroy anybody they play. And even though that was an outstanding team that they had, and a number of them have gone on to play professionally and are outstanding players, this team could beat them 9 out of 10 or all 10 games.
Perhaps might give them one fluke victory, certainly in a one-game situation, but I don't see more than that. As you indicated, if this U.S. team is motivated, I would doubt, aside from, give the benefit of the doubt, one fluke win.
But you know what? If I was coaching that team, I'd probably say the same thing, that we'd have, a chance to win 3 or 4.
Absolutely.
You never know. It might be a reunion someday.
Yes, that's right. Incidentally, Alexander Gomelsky said he was recently contacted by the Russian Federation to coach the unified team, but he turned it down because the Federation wanted him to do it for free. He's become a capitalist, and he is currently living in the San Diego area.
And will be coaching still a combined team of former Soviet players and some U.S. players. Will play a small schedule against outstanding college teams next year.
Nice setup for Drexler. United States with a 46-14 lead, 5:40 remaining in this first half. When you talk to some of the coaches of the United States squad, you get the idea that they were disappointed that they weren't tested more severely here, that the competition was not better. It will be stronger in Barcelona with the U.S. having to go up against clubs like Croatia, Lithuania.
No question that the staff understands their most difficult job will be when they regroup. Charles Barkley, a little baseline jumper. When they regroup and bring them back to Monte Carlo after this little 2-week vacation that they have coming up, to try and get them focused back in on the idea that the competition is going to be much, much better when they move on to the next round or to the Olympics in Barcelona. And getting these guys focused in after what they've done this week is not going to be easy.
And the foul is called. Patrick Ewing raising his hand.
Sometimes you draw it up on the board and it works to perfection.
Just under 5 minutes to go in this first half. Venezuela came out, missed their first 10 shots from the field. Rustin Gonzalez tied up, and he was fouled. Mike, you look at the U.S. squad, is there any weakness that you can detect?
Yeah, I would be concerned if I were Chuck and the staff about the defensive point guard pressure. Seriously, they will face teams who put the ball on the floor extremely well. Players such as Marciulionis, who plays for the Golden State Warriors here in the NBA. And those type of players will continue to try to beat them off the dribble. Magic Johnson has had problems in the past guarding smaller guards that put it on the floor. With Stockton out, there is no real defensive player that can get after the smaller, quick guards and stop them from penetrating. And then obviously the dribble penetration, the concern of fouls, etc. So I'd say that'd be the one problem.
10 apiece for Drexler and Malone. Ewing able to reject. Once again, the hook thrown up by Palacios. Just under 4 minutes to go in this first half. Leitner finishes it off. And the United States now leads 52-18. For the U.S., particularly as we look at this first half, it's been a week of playing the role of the Harlem Globetrotters to various forms of Washington General-like opposition. Although the level of play by the international teams has greatly improved, which, as we mentioned, we'll probably see over in Barcelona. The competition should be more difficult there. Leitner, and the United States leads 54-20.
Keep in mind, because of some of the things that have happened in the other countries, such as the splitting up of the Soviet Union and Yugoslavia, you have 2 and 3 teams now that are very strong and powerful from, let's say, the former Soviet Union, qualifying, knocking teams out like Italy that used to make it, Germany, because of there are only X number of slots that qualify.
But still, a victory over the U.S. would be a major upset. Magic Johnson, 7 points, 4 assists. Good start in the first half for Magic. It has been a strong return from inactivity. We asked Magic, how far does he feel he's come back from his customary level of play?
What you miss, and the key is this, that you're not used to playing against guys so quick, and I found that out in practice. That's what you miss. You miss defensively. You know, have to now make a quicker drop or whatever that case may be when practicing against John Stockton or Bobby Hurley. And that's the side that you miss. Other than that, offensively and the things passing, I'm right there, you know, but defensively, that's what really hurt you.
You go back to when Magic was playing for the Lakers, they always tried to take him off those smaller, quick point guards and match up differently, because the smaller, quick guards give him problems. Always have. Man is 6'9". It's not 5'11", 6'1". So playing against those type guys, it's a problem, and that's a concern down the road for Chuck and his staff.
And Mike, you mentioned Bobby Hurley, because Hurley of Duke, one of the players on that collegiate squad that helped get the United States ready prior to coming to Portland.
The developmental team, which played so well against this team, in fact, beat them in the first scrimmage that they had last week in preparation. And a thought that Chuck Daly mentioned just prior to the game, he would love to bring that developmental team to Monte Carlo and have them practice against this U.S. team. It would be his stiffest competition to this point.
9th turnover committed by Venezuela, giving the ball back to the United States. Scottie Pippen and Clyde Drexler now in the backcourt. Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, and Christian Leitner up front. Gonzalez knocking it away from Drexler. Sam Shepard handling, checking back onto the floor, and once again a turnover. Sloppy play by Venezuela. A reminder coming up on the Kraft halftime report. Dan Hicks, the newest member of our NBC Sports team, will have results from the European Olympic qualifying tournament, and he'll take a look at this U.S. Olympic team and how it compares to some of the great teams in other sports over the years. That is coming up at halftime. Dan Hicks on the Kraft halftime report.
Number 11.
Herrera called for his second foul, and Charles Barkley will go to the line. Barkley averaging 16 per game to lead the United States in scoring, shooting 58%. 2:24 remaining in this first half. Today, as it turns out, is Independence Day in Venezuela. They won independence from Spain back in 1810. Most of the country watching this game, at least they were watching earlier. It started 4 p.m. Venezuela time, and Julio Toro, the coach, says he's already been told by government officials no matter what should happen here today, the team will be given a hero's welcome at the airport when it arrives, with politicians, civic leaders on hand. They expect a crowd that will exceed 50,000. This Venezuela's first appearance ever in Olympic competition in basketball. Basketball beginning in Venezuela back in 1935. Off the steal, Olivares through the layup. Shepard gives it up for Herrera. Well, that's the play of the half for Venezuela.
It makes their highlight tape.
United States with a 57-22 lead. Venezuela began becoming competitive in basketball in the 70s when the Venezuelan Professional League was formed. They played a 20-game schedule. They're up to a 42-game schedule now.
Well, Venezuela showing that it can get in the passing lanes, and then trying to pull the slam dunk off doesn't quite work. But then the pass and conversion at the offensive end.
And Charles Barkley will look to complete the three-point play. Charles has 8 points. The high men, Drexler and Malone, with 10. Gonzalez leads Venezuela with 8. A minute 20 to go in the first half. Another turnover. However, a travel called on Ewing, so they give it right back.
Well, this team has tremendous flexibility. I'm just not quite sure that Chuck Daly and his staff want Patrick Ewing in the middle of the fast break trying to lead it.
Patrick Ewing jammed his right thumb last week during practice. It was expected he'd miss 3 games, missed the opener against Cuba, but came right back in the second game. Here's Scottie Pippen. Thus, with a minute to go in the first half, the United States leads 62-22. And a foul is called. It's on Ewing. That is his second.
Patrick just saying hello to Paul Herrera, reminding that he'll see him again next season.
Patrick Ewing, a member of the 1984 United States gold medal winning team in Los Angeles. Carl Herrera, Venezuela's leading scorer, averaging 20 per game, has only 2 points thus far today. Member of the Houston Rockets, as we have mentioned. He had a 1-year deal, and he told us yesterday he'll begin contract negotiations with the Rockets shortly. Usually a small forward. He's been playing center in this tournament, and he's played well, although having his difficulties here in the first half. Gonzalez now with 10. United States leads 62-24. Drexler from Pippen.
Herrera had played well enough, in fact, to beat out Buck Johnson for the starting small forward position on the Houston Rockets last season. Then, unfortunately, came up with an injury and had to sit for a long time down the stretch run.
And he's developed that nice touch from some 15 feet away that you just saw. Slide Drexler, yes, and it counts. Drexler leads the way with 14. The foul committed by Herrera.
Well, it's nothing unusual for Scottie Pippen to dish off and find open people. He was the leading assist man for the Chicago Bulls. And Clyde, in front of his hometown fans, putting on a little show.
Clyde has hit 6 of 7 from the field. The United States shooting just under 70%. They're 27 for 40. Venezuela only 12 of 44. They're under 30% from the field. Final seconds of the half. Olivares not able to hit. Estaba blocked by Ewing, and time has run out. That came after the horn. Well, Charles Barkley got the crowd going, but it will not count. The United States at halftime leading by 41. They led Cuba by 40 last Sunday and won by 79. It's the United States 67 and Venezuela 26. Let's take another look with time winding down as Barkley was able to unleash from the center court area. Charles getting it off, but time had clearly expired. So the high point man of the first half, Clyde Drexler with 15. 10 points for Karl Malone. The United States with the enormous lead. We'll be back in just a moment.
Today's halftime highlights, brought to you by Phillips Lighting.
Back in Portland, a look at some of the highlights during the course of the first half.
Well, Magic Johnson jumped out early, got 7 quick points, and basically because the defense was concerned about the perimeter and let the inside wide open. Defensively, the U.S. team was just outstanding, holding the 27% shooting. David Robinson with 3 block shots himself in that half. And then whether it was Michael Magic or Scottie Pippen that was in charge of running the show, they found open teammates and distributed the ball very well. Pippen leading the U.S. team in the first half with 5 assists.
And once again, the United States with a dominating half in terms of statistics. Look at the shooting, 68% on 27 out of 40, while Venezuela 12 for 45. They missed their first 10 shots from the field, and the U.S. with a 25-16 edge off the boards and went to town in turnovers, 14 points off the Venezuela turnovers. Right now, let's go over to Quinn Buckner.
So the flow of the game has been very, very good, and as a result, a quick first half.
And there has been a unique situation that has developed here during the course of the Tournament of the Americas. It began with the game against Cuba last Sunday, where the Cubans asked to pose with the Americans in a photo opportunity, and that has become traditional now. Before every game against the U.S. Olympic team, they sit down and pose for a photo, something for the opposition to take home to the kids and the family.
How about this? You find this a little bit unusual at halftime. Rather than warming up, the Venezuelan guys have a little camera. They're running around asking the U.S. players, will you stand next to me and take a picture for my scrapbook once I get back home to Venezuela? Just a little bit different mentality.
A couple of members of the United States coaching staff mentioned that they know that they will be considered to be serious opposition when a team comes into a game, and I'm sure it will happen in Barcelona, where we will not see the photo opportunities, where a team comes in and does not request a photo be taken.
Not quite the respect factor that these other teams have had so far for the U.S. team.
It is a 41-point lead as the second half gets underway, and a rare turnover by the United States. Estaba, Shepard with it. Shepard off the drive, and it's tipped home by Alexander Nelson. The United States opening with a front line of David Robinson, Karl Malone, and Chris Mullin. These are the starters. Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan in the backcourt. Here's Mullin. Chris Mullin from the tournament, shooting 65%. He's averaging 15 points per game. He has 5 this afternoon. United States leading 69-28. Herrera off the dribble. Jordan for Robinson. He had the 3. He passed on it and gave it up.
Mark, that is the 56th dunk in this tournament for the United States team. If you total the other 9 teams and their dunks, they have a total of 56 also. So the U.S. team just tied the rest of the tournament teams in total dunks with that last one.
Gabriel Estaba hitting from long range. Here's Malone. Yes. So Karl Malone with 12 points, and the United States is up 73-31. Venezuelans are a pretty emotional bunch. They were beaten by Puerto Rico earlier this week, and Carl Herrera and Gabriel Estaba, friends since they were teenagers. Well, Shepard able to hit on the drive. But Herrera and Estaba got into it in the locker room. Estaba said they were accusing each other of not sharing the ball on the court. Jordan with the save for Robinson. And the argument escalated to the point that Herrera took a swing at Estaba, but missed, fortunately. Estaba said he left the room at the urging of the Venezuelan Federation officials, who apparently were on hand. Now everything is a bit cool between the two. They try to downplay it.
Evidently, the two of them had been very, very close friends years back, and then there was a split. Something had happened. They weren't speaking for a while. And what's happened is that fight, or near fight, has brought them back close together once again.
And they were able to come up with that huge upset over Brazil on Friday night. Olivares has been off, and we get the whistle for the foul.
At times, the U.S. team, it looks as if they have eyes behind their head. They just know where one another are, and then they finish by David Robinson.
Second foul committed by Estaba, so the United States gets it back. The U.S. has won 5 of 5 in this tournament. David Robinson not able to hit, and last touched by the United States, and a foul has been called. A push on Robinson. U.S. with wins over Cuba, Canada, Panama, Argentina, Puerto Rico Friday night. They knocked off Puerto Rico in the semifinals. Mullen with the save. Jordan setting up Malone. Malone thought he was fouled. Jordan with the steal. Backs to three-point territory and hits. Johnson with the steal for 3. Yes. So consecutive three-pointers on consecutive steals by Jordan and Johnson.
Magic wasn't going to let Michael get one up on him, so he just picks the ball off, pulls up, shoots a 3, knocks it down, and a little high five from one another.
Estaba had the baseline closed by Malone. And he's stripped by Malone. 4 minutes gone by, second half. A look away from Magic for Robinson. And the United States now leads by 50. Estaba blocked by Jordan.
Well, after Michael picks it off defensively, he can't decide whether to give it up right away and get a quick assist. Nah, I think I'll just take it back here behind the three-point line and pick up 3 on my scoring average. And then defensively, maybe the best in the league at coming from behind and blocking shots, Michael Jordan.
Well, Brazil knocked off Puerto Rico in the consolation game earlier today, 93-91. And the hope of basketball officials here was that it would be a Brazil-United States final. In particular, after Marcel de Sousa of Brazil had these strong statements to make, saying that he hopes that the NBA All-Pro, All-Universal team will play the best they can. He said they have not played their best. They're hiding. They're playing for fun. I wish we play them in the final or semifinal. And we asked Michael Jordan for his reaction.
If you don't like the way I prepare for a game, then, that's your tough luck. But, when I step on the basketball court, you got to deal with me. And that's going to be a motivational point for me in terms of what they've said about what I do to relax myself. Yeah, I'm going to be ready to play.
Well, I just want to tell the Brazilian team they are very fortunate that they did not wind up in the final, because this U.S. team was fired up to play Brazil. Speaking with each of the players, they had read the comments, did not like some of the things that were said, and you think this 50-point deficit's bad right now. It could have been worse against Brazil.
Yes, they were using it to rev up for should they go against Brazil in a championship game. David Robinson adds to the lead. It's 85-35. Marcel de Sousa said, if they are the dream team, we're the nightmare team. Their best, I want to see it. I want to say I play with the best American team. And he said that earlier in the week, they're not playing now, Jordan, with golf, Pippen with the suntan. Jordan said, tell de Sousa that's Scottie Pippen's natural color. That's the only mild controversy during the course of the week here at the Tournament of the Americas. Turnover number 16 committed by Venezuela. 5.5 gone by in the second half. And the United States moving up on the possibility of largest differential. That was a 3-point attempt by Mullen. Last Sunday, the United States knocked off Cuba by 79 in Olympic competition, the largest differential ever for the United States. They defeated Thailand 101-29 and 56. That was a 72-point margin, and as I said, they won by 79 over Cuba last Sunday. That's a 3 for Chris Mullen, who has been on fire from three-point land. The average margin of victory for the United States going into today's play, 52 points. Off the steal, Mullen from Robinson, and he was fouled by Shepard.
What's caused so many problems for the opposition against the United States team is that this U.S. team has had a tremendous ability to communicate defensively, switch and jump out into passing lanes. And it's almost as if the other teams don't expect it to happen, like they haven't seen it before. It's a common thing in the NBA that two guys screen, you switch, you stay in your areas, and it's a form of zone incorporated into the man-to-man defense.
And Mullen able to get inside. The United States leads 90-35. Estaba, it counts, and the foul.
David Robinson trying to figure out how can it be a foul on me when he's driving his left elbow into my chin and then knocking me to the floor. But David, forget it. It's a foul. He's going to shoot it. Give him the points.
Second called on Robinson. Gabriel Estaba will go to the line looking for a three-point play. Well, 3 weeks from today, the United States Olympic team will make its Olympic debut in Barcelona, and you will see that game in its entirety. That'll be 4 o'clock, both Eastern and Pacific time here on NBC. It's 3 weeks from today. Mullen gets it right back out. Jordan attempting the three. Malone on the follow. 14 points for Karl Malone. Shepard. 8 points for Shepard.
Sam playing at his own tempo. Give me the ball, let me get it up the floor and get a shot off.
Sam Shepard at 39 is the oldest player in this 10-team tournament. It'll be Venezuela ball. He may emerge as the oldest player in the Olympics when his team gets to Barcelona. That is Shepard.
39 years old, 8% body fat, not bad. Says it takes him a little longer now. It takes him 2 months to get himself ready to play this season. But then again, he averages 40 minutes a game when he plays in Venezuela.
Mullen from Jordan, rejected by Estaba. Herrera leads the break. Herrera had it knocked away, able to recover, finds Estaba. This is the best flow of the day for Venezuela. Sam Shepard admitted to us the other day that this whole situation for him at age 39 is kind of far-fetched. Sam has a 22-year-old daughter by the name of Gwendolyn. Here's Estaba. Well, Venezuela with a little burst here. So it cuts it to 92-46. 11.5 remaining. Michael Jordan to the reverse.
Michael wanted to know why there was no whistle. He thought he should have been on a free throw line.
Malone with the rebound. Magic pulls up for the three. Estaba for Herrera. Herrera with 8 points. Estaba is the high man with 13. easy penetration. We've seen that throughout the tournament. That began with the opening game, the United States against Cuba. Malone rejecting Shepard, who lands in the crowd. Robinson stripped, and Gonzalez pitches down to Shepard. Back for Gonzalez.
Well, Shepard started to think about taking it to the basket and then saw Karl Malone back there swimming. I'll pull up, but then at the last second found his teammate.
Chuck Daly getting set to make some changes now as we hit the halfway mark of this second half. Gonzalez knocking it away from Malone. Magic for three. And Herrera comes down with it. Pumps it down to Shepard. Well, Shepard off the fake. Jordan looking for the block. And the United States now leads 96-52. Robinson. That's 14 for David Robinson of the San Antonio Spurs. David coming into this tournament, making it back from that surgically repaired thumb, undergoing surgery back in March. A rejection by Jordan. Jordan able to stop Nelcha. It's a 3-on-1. Here's Mullen behind the back, returning to Magic. Malone. Rebound Malone. Yes, and the foul.
It's just a decision of which shot do you want to take, which one is better than the other, and sometimes it's hard to make a decision because they're so easy. But back a few moments ago, want to add one to the highlight film? Well, here it is. Michael Jordan, little body contact, and then he finds a way to get it up, around, and over the top of the rim.
Welcome back to Portland. I'm here right now with Mrs. Irvin Johnson Cookie and their new son, Irvin Johnson III. She's saying she can't believe he's sleeping through the game. Cookie, tell me, how's he been? You been able to rest?
A little bit. He's a very good baby. He sleeps about 2 to 3 hours a night.
Let me ask you, as Magic has gone through this, what has been his impressions to you about how the trials have been going for him?
Oh, he's having a great time. He's really enjoying this, and it's like, being back in the NBA to him. It's a really, good feeling, and it's a good feeling for me to see him out there. It was like looking at old tape, the first game that I saw him, and see that big grin on his face. It made me feel really good.
Well, good. I want congratulations again on your newborn. Guys, that's it. This is his first official outing. Back to Marvin Mike.
All right, Quinn and Magic. 10 points, 6 assists. Chuck Daly making changes. Scottie Pippen returns, along with Charles Barkley, Christian Layton, Clyde Drexler, and Patrick Ewing. Charles Barkley took a blow to the back of his head the other night, knocked to the floor on a drive to the basket, suffered a cut to his scalp that required, it counts, and the foul. 1 stitch required. Charles did return for action in the second half. And, Mike, after the game, when he returned to the dressing room, as we take another look at that drive.
Carl Herrera with the reverse dunk.
When he returned to the dressing room, he found a bowling ball with a Band-Aid on it.
This is one cold group out here. They don't care who it is or what it is. You're going to find out and hear about it some way.
Charles said, no, that's funny. I like it. Good move. Scottie Pippen from Clyde Drexler. And the United States now leads 103-55.
I like what he said. I can take a joke.
8.5 remaining in the second half. Shepard with a nice pass. Alexander Nelcha finished it off. Alexander Nelcha attended Bloomsburg University in Pennsylvania, earning a degree in economics. Has been a member of this Venezuelan national team the last couple of years. Barkley. So a friendly rim for Charles Barkley, and the United States leads 105-57. Drexler with the rejection.
Patrick Ewing almost blocked it with his back that time.
And a timeout has been called. We'll be back in Portland in a moment.
Today's game summary, brought to you by Converse.
Well, look at the United States shooting, 66%. They have hovered around the 70% mark right throughout the day. Venezuela, 37%, and they have actually picked up the shooting to reach 37%. U.S. with the edge off the boards, and they have been able to take advantage of the Venezuela turnover situation. 7:58 remaining in the second half, and the United States up by the score of 105-57. Marv Albert with the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello, along with Quinn Buckner from the Memorial Coliseum, the home of the NBA Portland Trailblazers. Capacity on hand, better than 13,000. And Clyde Drexler of the Blazers called for the hack on Herrera.
Second personal.
Clyde Drexler coming into today shooting 70% in the tournament, 21 for 30 from the field, and has only helped his percentage with the performance this afternoon, 6 for 7 for 15 points.
And Clyde was asked to sit out one of the games here this week, the same knee problem that he was encountering during the regular season, where in fact when Rick Adelman had the opportunity, he would rest Clyde, trying not to play him in back-to-back games or 3- and 4-night situations, deciding which one he was going to sit out because of the swelling that would take place in Clyde's knee. Well, with consecutive games here, the same type of thing happened, and it's going to be a concern of theirs as they move on to Barcelona.
And once again, Larry Bird has been sitting it out. That's a steal by Shepard. Try to set up. Last touch by Leitner. Larry with the bad back, which has affected his legs. He feels the nerve damage in his legs when his back acts up. Planning to fly to Boston tomorrow for treatment rather than his original plan of flying home to French Lick. But he said he hopes to be playing basketball by the end of next week.
Spoke to Larry before the game, and he said actually yesterday and today is the best that I've felt. I just didn't think there would be any reason to play him in this afternoon's game and cause further damage, obviously.
He is not looking forward to that long flight to Nice for the U.S. team's training in Monte Carlo. Barkley with 12, and the United States leads 107-59. Larry Bird has difficulty flying long periods of time without worrying about that back stiffening up. Carl Herrera, he has 15. 6:45 remaining in the game. United States on its way to making 6 out of 6 here in the Tournament of Americas. 3-on-1. Esteban takes it all the way and lost it. Shepard on the recovery, shoots for 3. U.S. 107 and Venezuela 64. Drexler for 3 points. And rebounded by Nelcha. Esteban fouled by Pippen.
A few moments ago at the offensive end for the United States, Leitner missing the jumper for the U.S., which have been crashing the boards for the entire week. Barkley just moves Patrick out of the way with his left arm, says, no, I need these 2 points, keep my average up there, and tips it in.
Like the Venezuela coach, Julio Toro, very candid about approaching this game and concerning the overall look of the United States Olympic team. He said you could actually put together an all-star team from all the other teams in this tournament, give us a 30-point lead and the ball, and we'd still lose by a good margin.
Well, it's not like they can hold it for the rest of Thursday's shot clock thing, that you have to get it up there eventually. And he understands that this U.S. team has such great ability to make it happen defensively. Coach Toro, getting his background in coaching actually in Puerto Rico from the Puerto Rican League, and has worked with a number of United States coaches, many NBA coaches who used to go down to Puerto Rico and coach there during the summer.
Yes, he played on the national team of Puerto Rico. Then an assistant coach, Leitner, getting inside. And as you mentioned, Julio says he learned to coach from traveling violations. Some of the NBA coaches who spent time in the Puerto Rican Summer League. He named Phil Jackson and Doug Bowe, Jimmy Lanham, Jack Ramsey, Bernie Bickerstaff, Casey Jones.
P.J. Carlissimo, the assistant for the United States team down there for many, many summers coaching in Puerto Rico.
Ewing. And Gonzalez able to handle. Rustin Gonzalez, who was not shy about pumping up shots in the first half. He attempted 13. He was 5 of 13. This is Gonzalez with the ball. He's stopped and able to put it home on the recovery.
He's got the right idea. Somebody told him once, you can't score unless you shoot the basketball.
He has shot well in this tourney coming off the bench. He's just under 60%. He has 14 points this afternoon. The United States leads 109-67. Here's Shepard with Pippen back. Just under 5 minutes remaining in the game. It's one of those rare sequences where the shot clock for the U.S. is down under 10. It's a 3-on-2 for Venezuela. Shepard behind the back. Nicely done. Herrera able to finish it off.
Well, actually, it was one of the few times that the zone defense that Venezuela played gave the United States some problems. They didn't get in the seam as they had been doing. They could not find the guy along the baseline and dive the big man down to the basket. And then after recovering the basketball, Venezuela had numbers in their transition game.
Foul was committed by Rustin Gonzalez. The high man of the game for the United States, Karl Malone with 17 points. Clyde Drexler with 15. David Robinson, 14. Chris Mullin with 12. And some three-pointers.
Charles Barkley.
And Barkley now has 15. United States leads 112-73 as Estaba is able to hit.
And there's that point guard breaking down the U.S. defense that we had talked about earlier in the first half. Right now, it's Scottie Pippen's job to guard that point guard. And with Stockton out, as Clyde misses the layup and Charles stays on the glass for the U.S. team, with Stockton out with the injured leg, the responsibility of trying to defend those smaller, quicker point guards falls to either Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, or Magic Johnson. That's an area of concern for Chuck and his staff.
John Stockton injured in the opening minute of the U.S. victory over Canada earlier this week. Elcha scoring for Venezuela as John Stockton. Michael Jordan's knee bumping his leg. John felt the immediate pain. Leitner for three. Christian Leitner, the only collegian on the U.S. squad, has hit 6 of 9 for 14 points. Elcha around Ewing and fouled by Leitner. 2:41 remaining. And the U.S. with a 117-75 lead. Couple of Olympic gold medalists, figure skater Christy Yamaguchi and speed skater Bonnie Blair behind Christy. On hand here at the Memorial Coliseum as we wind down in the Tournament of the Americas. And the crowd chanting for Larry Bird, but they will not see him in action because of that bad back. Well, Larry is tying the shoelaces and the jersey being taken off, and perhaps they will see him. Now, the other night, Larry gave the impression in the final minutes playing with the crowd that he would enter the ball game. We were told that he would not play today, but let's see what happens.
Well, in the huddle the other night, Larry started to pull off his warm-up as if he was walking into the huddle to report in with very little time left remaining in the game. The crowd went nuts, and he's getting up.
As Ewing hits, the crowd reacts to the entrance of Larry Bird, who will enter the game in the final minutes. Herrera connecting from the outside. The United States leading 119-78.
It would be interesting. Bird made the opening basket this week for the United States team, the first basket in the tournament for the United States. How about if he wound up taking the last shot?
As Estaba colliding with Leitner, and Larry Bird had a brilliant shooting performance last Sunday. Here he comes. So Bird has come on for Barkley. He hit 7 of 8, 3 from downtown against Cuba on Sunday. Here's Bird looking for the 3, then gives to Leitner. Just under 2 minutes remaining in the game. Estaba. Rebound Pippen. The United States will try to set up Bird, who now remains in the backcourt. The U.S. leads 123 to 78. They've led by as many as 55 points. Patrick Ewing has 10. Herrera. That was deflected by Ewing. Ewing getting down court with Shepard back. And Ewing able to go glass. We approach 1 minute remaining in this tournament. Crowd would love to see Bird get a shot off. The chant for Larry Bird. Herrera on the follow. And the United States leads 125 to 80. Crowd anticipating as Bird handles and fires. Looked like Melcher got a piece of it.
Well, Larry hustled down the floor on the right side, hoping that they would pitch at him, and also hoped that the defense wouldn't run back to him, but Melcher got the block.
Shepard had it knocked away. Here's Melcher for 3. Rebound Estaba. We're down to 25 seconds to go in the game, and the U.S. will gain possession. And again, the anticipation for Bird. Bird on the drive. This the reverse, hits the ball. This, of course, is not what Larry Bird had in mind to finish things up a la a Henry Finkel, but the crowd showing their great respect and admiration for one of the game's great players, Larry Bird.
And he immediately got a high five from Patrick Ewing, who the two of them this past week have become very close friends, the Harry and Larry combination.
0.6 of a second remaining.
I don't know where Patrick Ewing comes up with Harry, but...
So the United States has defeated Venezuela by the score of 127 to 80 in the championship game of the Tournament of the Americas here in Portland. It will be the United States, Venezuela, Brazil, and Puerto Rico all advancing from this tournament to the Olympics in Barcelona. 17 apiece for Malone and Barkley. Leitner had 16, Drexler 15, Robinson 14. Herrera leading Venezuela with 21. Let's go over to Quinn Buckner.
Hello, I'm here with Larry Bird. Larry, your back has been bothering you. You're shocked everybody came in and played. Obviously, you're feeling a little better.
Yeah, I do feel a lot better, and I didn't want to get hurt out here because I want to go to Barcelona. So I just stayed out everybody's way today.
I saw you weren't going for any rebounds. What are you going to do for your rehab?
So I'm going back to Boston tomorrow and get some therapy on it, rest this week, then hopefully next week I can start playing again and try to get in good shape and go from there.
Well, I'm sure everybody's pulling for you so you can bring in the gold back to America.
We will. Thank you.
All right, Quinn, Larry Bird, with that brief stint, played the last couple of minutes and took 3 shots, hit 1. This is the drive along the baseline, went for the reverse, and then able to follow up and hit for his only score of the game. And that received this reaction from Magic Johnson. We'll be right back. Well, the United States shooting 62% from the field, defeating Venezuela to win the championship of the Tournament of the Americas by the score of 127-80. Another easy victory for the U.S. Olympic team. A look at today's Miller Genuine Draft play of the game.
Michael Jordan, who played many different roles here, scorer, assist man, defensive stopper at times, but always putting on a highlight show for the crowd. Michael Jordan with the play of the game.
Although for Michael, another low-key performance, his explosives not needed. He went 3 for 7 for 7 points. We'll be back in a moment. Continuing effort to support amateur athletics. Visa proud to donate $10,000 to the U.S. Olympic team in Charles Barkley and Magic Johnson's names in order to help further the development of U.S. Olympians present and future. They are the tournament MVPs. Barkley today with 15. He led the team in scoring, averaging 16 per game. And the Magic Man with 6 assists this afternoon. So he finished with 54 assists to lead the way in that department.
That's the key thing, that obviously the games that may be limited, try to reduce the travel, for Magic to play the 41 home games and then see how many of the away games. Going across town to play the Clippers wouldn't be all that bad for him, and a few other teams where it's a real short flight, but it's in him. He wants to get back and compete one more time, and it's going to be hard to deny him that opportunity with the way he's playing right now.
Right now the medals ceremony is taking place at center court here in Portland. The United States defeating Venezuela 127-80, making it 6-0 in the Tournament of Americas to win the championship. Mike, I think going in, people expected the U.S. would have an easy time, but I don't know if they expected that they would blow through everybody with this type of ease, beginning with the 79-point victory over Cuba last Sunday.
I think what it does is it shows how smart, how intelligent, and how well these players, with their tremendous skills, understand this game of basketball and the knowledge that they absorb and pick up during their regular seasons, because with only 6 practices, it's almost impossible to put it together, make it work the way they did. But that's the level that they're at, the best players in the world at the game of basketball. And, you're talking about taking egos. It was a concern. Could they blend and mesh these egos? Well, it became very easy.
And the crowd very appreciative as the United States players receive their individual medals. The Tournament of Americas won by the United States. We'd like to thank all of those who have taken part in bringing these telecasts to you last Sunday and this Sunday. Our next Olympic team broadcast 3 weeks from today, and you'll see it in its entirety. The U.S. Olympic team making its debut in Barcelona. Once again, the final score here in Portland. United States Olympic team 127, Venezuela 80 in the title game. The games of the 25th Olympiad, as I mentioned, will start 3 weeks from today, and the Dream Team will make its debut at 4 p.m. Eastern and Pacific time. That's the 26th of July. And the U.S. team hearing it from the crowd as they head back to the dressing room. Tonight on NBC, learn the truth about Columbus on the Voyage of Mystery, and then it's In the Heat of the Night, and the NBC Sunday night movie, Follow Your Heart. Thanks for tuning in. For Mike Fratello and Quinn Buckner, I'm Marv Albert. So long from Portland, Oregon.